Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm just going to show you guys how to do a few of the problems from the review. I checked the Edmodo account, didn't really see anybody posted any questions in particular, so I just picked some random ones. So I'm going to work through them and message me if you guys have any questions on it, and I'll go over a few more. So when we're trying to solve for the A value here, we got to figure out what's going to make each of these values equal to 0. So what's gonna make this guy here equal to 0? Whoops, sorry, let me just connect my stylus really quick. And what's gonna make this guy equal to 0? So let's look at this guy. So I have a plus 6 equal to 0. Well, subtract 6 from each side, and I get a equals negative 6. Done. Let's look at this guy. So what would make this 0? I have no idea, so I'm going to equal it to 0. I'm going to solve for it. Add 7 to each side, and I get 3a equals 7, divide by 3, and I get a equals 7 over 3. And there's my second solution. So there are your two answers. Good to go. Let's look at this next one. Now here I don't have two factors, so I have to factor these out. I have to break these apart so that I can equal each factor, just like I did in this last problem, to 0. So let's break this apart and let's equal it to 0. So I notice that this guy and this guy are both divisible by 4 and p. So let's take one of those bad boys out. So I'm going to take out a 4. I'm going to take out a p. And then inside I'm going to have 2p minus 1. And then that's going to equal to 0. Now equal each of these guys to 0. So 4p equals 0. So 4 times what equals 0? Well, 0. Take the other guy. So take the 2p minus 1. What'll make that equal to 0? Well, let's add 1. And then let's divide by 2. So divide by 2. And I get p equals 1/2. And there are my two answers. Alright, p equals 0 and p equals 1/2. Let's see. Let me keep going. I got a couple more over here. Alright, so this guy I want to solve for. Well, I don't have this equation equal to 0 like I do on these two up here. So let's get this one equal to 0, and we can go ahead and do the exact same thing. So let me subtract 32 from each side. That goes to 0, so I'm left with n squared plus 4n minus 32 equals 0. Now let's go ahead and factor this guy. So you want to ask yourself, okay, what two numbers multiply to negative 32? So what two numbers multiply to negative 32 and also add to my middle number 4? So what multiplies to this and what adds to that guy? So 8 times 4. So 8 times 4, something better be negative here though, so if I need a negative 32, so I have a positive 4 here, so this needs to be negative 8. So this is going to factor out to be n plus 8 and n minus 4. So let me kind of make sure that that negative is there. So the two numbers in the factors here come from these two numbers right here. And then equal that to 0. And then again, we play that little game. What makes this equal to 0? Well, negative 8 does. What makes this equal to 0? 4 does. So those are my two answers. And of course, I have to write n equals. Let's look at this one over here. First of all, let's solve this so that it equals 0. So 15n squared minus n minus 2 equals 0. I just subtracted the 2 from each side. Let me just show it. Minus 2 here, minus 2 here. Now what multiplies to, well, let's multiply these two. 15 times negative 2 is negative 30. What two numbers multiply to negative 30? and add to -1. So I think it's going to be 6 and 5. So -6 and 5. -6 plus 5. So I get, so let's see, get my blue. So I get 15n minus 6, and then 15n plus 5 equals 0. Don't forget to divide on this one. What divides into each of these? 3 does. What divides into each of these? 5 does. And then I get here 5n minus 2. And then 3n plus 1 equals 0. And now let's play our little game here. Make each of these equal to 0. So 5n minus 2 equals 0. Oops. And 3n plus 1. What makes each of these equal to 0? So let's add 2 to each side. So I get 5n equals positive 2. And minus 1 on this side. I get 3n equals -1. And then just divide, 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 and divide. So I get n equals 2/5 and n equals -1/3. And those are my two answers. Whoops. That's huge. Let's make that a little smaller. And I'm done. These are my answers right here. 2/5 and -1/3. Alright, so I hope you guys like that video. Pretty sure those answers are correct. I went through it pretty quickly, but I think it is. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know, and good luck.